I'm coming to you from Paris. Hi, Wani, hi. Hi, Janet. Janet and I just parted company in Troncones just a few days ago. Mary Jo, I haven't seen you in a while. Mary Jo, she and I were in San Miguel together. I haven't met Pat before, but and Margaret Reed, you've already signed up. I love that. I don't know Eva yet or Andrea. Oh, wait, is it Andrea? Have I met you before? Kirsten. Now here comes Lucy Frost. She's an important part. And there's Beth and Kirby and Happy. I love your name, Happy. If you can, I'd love to see your faces, if you don't mind. And putting on your thing. Lucy Frost is still in Mexico. We just finished our trip to the beach, our beach retreat. We had 2 weeks of it. And I got home last night and you would think going to the beach isn't hard work. And you're not going to feel sorry for me, but I'm going to tell you, it was a lot. I needed 2 days to recover, but nobody's going to believe that. But anyway, welcome everyone. I'm so glad you're here. And if you don't mind showing your picture, hi Kirby. We'd love to see your faces, but it's not a requirement. Whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm so glad you're here because we have such a great trip planned for Paris, and it's one of those trips. It'll work if you've never been to Paris or if you've been to Paris quite a bit, because we have as our special guide for Paris is Ellen Williams. Ellen, say hello. Ellen's written guidebooks on Paris. She's been there, like 40 something times. She can tell you that. She loves Paris. She's made it her life work to get into the real heart of Paris. And now part of her life work is sharing Paris with NextTribe women. So we're very lucky that she's so generous with her time and her ideas and her secret spots. So I want to just she can introduce herself and tell you why she loves Paris so much. I mean, I know that seems like an obvious statement, but she loves it more than most people, I think. So Ellen, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with Paris and why it's become such a passion?
Hello, good evening. Excuse me. I first went to Paris 40 years ago as a kid and went around and did all the things that everybody does when they go for the first time. And of course, it was beautiful and fabulous, but I knew that what I was seeing wasn't the Paris that books are written about and music is composed about and paintings are painted about. I knew what I was seeing was sort of through a screen. And how could it be otherwise? If you go to a very complicated place for the first time, you're not going to know anything. And I thought then and there, I'm going to crack this code if it kills me. This I want to do. And I think that's where Jeannie got the number 40, but I've probably been there more like 100 times.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's 40 years. Sorry.
40 years, but I've been there a lot and I've shared it with a lot of people, which I have to say is the best way to do it, to take people to the things that have, made my heart sing, and to watch other people, to watch their eyes light up and say, oh, wow, this is so special. This is so beautiful. And you think about Paris is one of those places where the superficial stuff is great and the profound stuff is great, and kind of everything in between is great. Just walking down the street, a simple thing as that, excuse me, can be uplifting. And then really thinking about the art and the culture and the history and everything is also very rewarding. So that's my mission, if you will, in this trip, is to take you all there and show you stuff that's going to make you happy. It's going to we're going to have fun. We're going to feel transported. We're going to feel like we've done something special together. Again, excuse me. I don't think I've spoken for much of the afternoon. So, as Jeannie said, it really will not matter whether you've been there never or a couple of times or a bunch of times, because there is so much, there's so much to do there that I guarantee you, I mean, I still have an amazing time every time I go. I get there and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do all the things that I love. So if you've been undecided about whether to join because you think, I've done Paris, or if you think, well, I've never been before and I'm not going to see the big stuff, you will see the big stuff. We're not going to go up in the Eiffel Tower, although of course you're free to take a morning or an afternoon and go and do that, but we will of course see it. And we're going to go on a lovely Seine cruise early in the trip to just sort of, we'll have our champagne and to see all the monuments along the Seine. In fact, Jeannie has put together some pictures that I gave her, which is more or less the itinerary. Does it make sense for us to start with the itinerary and then take any questions you all might have?
So that makes sense. Why don't we do this? You guys are free to write some questions in the chat, or just wait. We're going to show you, we have pictures where Ellen can talk us through some of the things that we'll be seeing. We have broken it down day by day, so you'll understand the kind of the neat places we're going to end up. So I'll show you that and she can talk through it. If you have questions while she's talking, just write them in the chat, or if you want to save it till afterwards, you can just we'll open it up and you can raise your hand, or we can you'll have a chance to ask questions. So here, now I have to do that thing where I have to show my.
Jeannie, you go and do that thing, and I'll just tell everybody that the trip is really designed to maximize our time. And this is one of the things that's key about having somebody with you who doesn't need to look at a map, who knows their way around. Everything is designed so that where we go, it'll be beautiful getting there. That what we're going to do there will be terrific, and then we'll make our way along a beautiful way to the next place. And you know, I've turned this thing over 1,000 different ways to see, oh, what would be the best thing to do here? What would be the best thing to do there? The restaurants, I can almost guarantee you're going to enjoy. They're all beautiful and have wonderful food. You will really feel like you are in Paris at most of these places. There's nothing cookie cutter about them. They're very authentic. Some of them have been around for a century or more, and yet are very vibrant. And so here I think
well, we're going to start with our neighborhood. So we'll be in the Saint-Germain neighborhood.
Where we're staying is, see the group there, that's in front of the hotel, which is on the Boulevard Saint-Germain, which is probably ground zero for a great place to be on the left bank. Very historic, very stylish, very beautiful. Right across the street are two of the most famous cafes in Paris. Excuse me again, Café de Flore and de Magot, which we're not going to as a group. They'd be rather impossible to go in with a large group, as you know, they're small cafe tables. But of course, it's there right across the street the entire week. If you want to duck over for a cafe au lait or for a glass of wine or whatever, just to have some time to yourself.
And we also are next to Brasserie Lip, which you know, that for me is that might be well known for some people.
That's a big Hemingway
spot. So we're right next door to that, just to kind of give you that we're the kind of where our base is. And then this is
a great location.
This is our hotel.
Jeannie, could you click on slideshow on the very top of your bar so we can have a full screen? Just
The-
see in the
Oh, there you
that one.
go.
Just
Um,
click on that. Yeah,
who's
good.
saying that? Who's so smart?
It's Mary Jo.
Mary Jo, I should have
Thank
known.
you, Mary Jo.
Small, I mean, yeah, I was having a problem with that. Okay, thanks, Mary Jo.
It just makes it a little bigger for us.
Yes, perfect. Okay, this is our hotel. We stayed here last year and just loved it. Having beautiful breakfast, the location, the staff, everything is just excellent. So we didn't think twice about going back here. So do you have anything else to say about the hotel, Ellen?
We were very happy there, and they were just gracious, and I mean, it was absolutely perfect.
So so day one we meet, we'll get there in the after, everyone will get in there from their flights from wherever. So you have a plan for that afternoon.
My my plan for the first day is I'm going to collect wonderful sandwiches and some pastries and whatnot, and we will, in that lounge that you just saw in the previous set of slides, we'll sit and we'll all have a snack and have something to eat, and we can make coffees and whatnot. And then we're going to head out to the Rue du Bac, which is, you see here, which is about a 5-minute walk from the hotel, although it's in an adjoining neighborhood. And the Rue du Bac is just a sensational street, picturesque, loaded with great shops. What you see here is that Chapon, that chocolate shop. What they have that is I've never seen anywhere else is in the window they have a chocolate mousse bar. So they have 6 single origin chocolate mousses, and you get a little paper cup and you can sit on the bench outside. Angelina is world famous for their hot chocolate. This is a branch of the Right Bank tea salon, and you can get a wonderful hot chocolate or coffee to go from there. I cannot tell you how terrific the shopping is. And what our plan is, so this is more Rue du Bac. This is from our trip last year. This is a century-old Armagnac shop, and they were expecting us last year. They poured tastes for everybody. They have bottles with every vintage on it for about the last 100 years or so, which makes a wonderful present to bring somebody for an anniversary or birthday, to get them a bottle of Armagnac from the year they were born or the year that they got married or whatever. The pastry that you see there, that's our Lori, who's the NextTribe co-founder. I dragged her back to this place to have what you see there in her hands was a rhubarb turnover, which I have to tell you was the single best thing I ate the entire week. It was, she's swooning over it. So we will stop there. And that is unusual among Paris. The finest pastry shops is headed by a woman, which again is a very rare thing. Dayrol, oh wait, Jeannie, go back. I mean, I could speed this up. Dayrol is a fabulous, fabulous shop on the Rue du Bac, which there's gifts and lovely things to buy, but what they're famous for are these taxidermies. And if any of you saw Midnight in Paris, there is a scene in the 1920s part that took place in Dayrol. Okay, now we can go on. That night, we're going to go to this souffle restaurant, which all of those pictures are from. There's a beautiful terrace, delicious souffles. Obviously, they have other things, but the dessert souffles cannot be missed. There's I think this one is a vanilla with a raspberry sauce and a chocolate sauce on the side. It's just fantastic.
And I want to, yeah, so we went there the first night, and I just realized that Lucy Frost is on here, and I forgot to mention that she's going to be the co-leader of the trip. And so Lucy, I'm sorry, because I realize you have to go in a bit, but we'll see pictures of Lucy, but she will be on the trip as well. So I just want to make the point that you'll be in really good hands with Ellen and Lucy on this trip, both well versed in Paris and French.
I need to hop off in just a minute,
Okay.
but if I could just say what my favorite thing about the trip is before I do hop off, is that if you haven't traveled with NextTribe before, and maybe y'all have, but there's so much flexibility in the group travel. So it's not like you're walking behind a person with the big flag in the air, right? It's this is what we're doing, but if there's something else you want to do, by all means, go do it. And so that's really cool. And also that we're not going to the huge sites. We're going to things that you would not know about or go to if you didn't have somebody like Ellen and her expertise.
And
So
I do
that's all.
get, yeah, thanks, Lucy. And I forgot, I'm sorry I didn't introduce you properly before that we started this screen.
Oh, no.
I don't even want to get out of the screen share because I don't know if I'll get back. But Lucy is just wonderful. And she makes a really good point that the way I design a trip and the way Ellen has actually designed this trip, but she knows how I like to travel. And it's my idea is that we're all grown women. And so if there's something that you need to do or you don't want to take part of, you can meet at a certain point along the way. There's Uber, there's 100 ways. She'll show us the whole system for getting around on metros and buses. So you have a lot of freedom. And I think it's a good point, Lucy. And thank you. I know Lucy's she's still down in Mexico, and she's having an anniversary dinner tonight. So we don't want to keep her, but thanks, Lucy. Okay. So the dinner, fabulous. We all love this place. The souffles were sweet, but we also savory for dinner, but they were the sweet ones at the end. And then, yeah, it was day 2.
Okay, so when Jeannie mentioned that not everybody's going to want to do everything, Ellen would not do the very first thing that we're going to do on the second day, which
You don't
is,
have to tell them.
well, I just want to give other people the freedom to say, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Which is the steam bath. It's just, I had a bad steam bath experience as a child, and I'm very modest. And so I don't want to do the steam bath. But the reason that we put it up front was thinking that people might be jet lagged, they might want to detox and whatnot. So here's this fabulous women only. It's in the Paris Mosque, which is almost 100 years old. It is exquisite. And I have planned a whole, sort of lovely way to get us there. But if there are other people who do not want to do the steam bath, and there's also, along at the steam bath, there's also, body exfoliation and all kinds of things. We will easily find something else to do. There's a wonderful museum of medieval art very near here that we could go and do while the others are having their steam, or any number of other things. So, and then
these are the tea. This is the tea also, right? That you can have there.
There's a lovely garden tea salon there where we can have a light lunch, and you can see all of these, Middle Eastern pastries there and mint tea, and it'll just be, exotic and pleasant and whatnot.
Okay.
Okay, so from the mosque, we're going to go on a tour of one of the oldest market streets in Paris, which you see down here in the lower left. We'll also, you see that little laboratory there, that's Marie Curie's office and lab. And there will be some discussion about women for whom Paris was the place where they really could become who they became, that the environment there was so nurturing and encouraging of women in a day and age where they couldn't have done that elsewhere. Some of these will be expatriate women. We'll talk about Josephine Baker. We'll talk about Julia Child. We'll talk about Edith Wharton and a bunch of other American women who came to Paris and really found their voice, found their life's calling. So we're going to stop in and visit Marie Curie's lab, which the site tells us was decontaminated in 1981. So you don't have to fear for the radiation in her lab. And then up top, you'll see the Luxembourg Gardens, which is how we will get back to the hotel this day, as we will walk through these beautiful, beautiful Luxembourg Gardens. There is a pavilion there. We can maybe stop and have a glass of wine amidst all of the roses and the other things that will be blooming in early June. That day 2, I specifically have us going to one of my favorite restaurants in Paris, which is called Fontaine de Mars. It's very near the Eiffel Tower. It's on a beautiful, beautiful street. My thought is that after dinner, when it will finally be dark, because it gets dark at almost 10 o'clock at night in Paris in June, we will walk up the street and be able to see the Eiffel Tower. We'll basically be at the foot of it, and we'll see it sparkling as it's lit up for nighttime before we head back to the hotel. This is Jeannie and I went to this place separately last year, and it was terrific, wasn't it?
Oh my God. It's just a dream of a Paris restaurant. I mean, a French restaurant, and
Yes.
just fabulous, beautiful, beautiful spot with great food. I mean, great food's a given, I guess.
Well, not every place.
Not everyone. Okay. Okay. Day
so
3.
The third day, we're going to start out from the hotel. I happen to be a bus maven. I think whenever you can take the bus, because you get to see everything. Whereas you go down to the metro, you come up on the other side of town, you have no idea what happened in between. So this is a lovely bus route between our hotel and this Musée Marmottan Monet, which is almost never crowded. It is, it will give us some of the wonderful, wonderful art that is in the mob scene that is the Musée d'Orsay, where the Impressionist and Post-Impressionist artists, but we will likely almost have it to ourselves. So there's Impressionist works, and then there's a whole gallery of Monet water lilies. And this is, I should say, in one of the sort of poshest neighborhoods on the right bank. Very, very special, very gracious. And from here, we will go to this incredible street market, which is twice a week in this beautiful neighborhood. And you can imagine that the people who live in this very upscale neighborhood have a beautiful street market. You can see here's Lori again with an incredible arrangement of peonies. That in the upper picture, that is cheese with wildflowers pressed into the rind, and then a bread vendor there. But obviously, we're not going to be buying roasts or vegetables or anything, but there are also vendors there selling terrific linen clothes and dish towels. And what else was there, Jeannie?
Well, I have to say, we all bought so much. You know, I bought a linen kind of long duster, and then a silver leather purse, and several red belts, and everyone was just finding things that they were drooling over. This was just, it was an incredible street, just one of the best street markets I've ever been to. Nobody walked away without something special.
Yeah. And then from there, so now we're on the right bank and we're in this, very stylish neighborhood. We're going to go to the Dior, the Gallery Dior, and see this sensational exhibition, which was here in New York at the Brooklyn Museum for a while, and now it's been reinstalled permanently in the Dior headquarters in Paris, and it will take your breath away. The clothing is so beautiful. And I thought we would then walk the short distance to the Hermes flagship store, where the saleswomen will demonstrate how to tie the fabulous scarves. This neighborhood also, because it is a very upscale neighborhood, has wonderful resale shops, and you can buy Hermes scarves that somebody, some rich Parisian lady didn't want and sent off to the resale shop for a fraction of what they cost in Hermes. But I still thought it might be fun to go to Hermes and see the piles of scarves and the whatnot. Saturday night, we're going to go on the Seine cruise that I mentioned. It's at the foot of the Pont Neuf, which is very near our hotel. It'll be a very nice walk there. You go down a flight of stairs to the level of the Seine, and for an hour, we will drift up toward the Eiffel Tower, back down around Notre Dame, and come back, and we will have wine while we're doing this.
Yay. Oh, day 4. Yeah, this is Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, we're going to go to the Paris flea market, not the huge one that you've probably read about or been to north of the city. This is my personal favorite. It's on the southern part of the city, and it is infinitely more manageable. It's collectibles. There are not armoires there and desks and couches, which none of us are buying on this trip. So, and it would be impossible to take a group and navigate that huge acres and acres and acres up at the Clignancourt. So we will go to the Porte de Vanves. You can see here 3 of our ladies from last year are at the snack stand in between, where there are fabulous French fries, I have to say. Even the ketchup is fabulous. And I think everybody had a terrific time at the flea market last year. The weather was perfect, as you can see. And it was just, people were buying things they didn't even know they wanted. Just
I know.
vintage collectibles and whatnot.
I bought something that I ended up, I loved so much that I committed to carrying around for the rest of the trip. They were breakable, so I had to be, they were these little, they were sort of like those beaded things up in the upper left corner, in the same stall, and they were breakable, so I had to be really careful. But they were completely worth it. I was so happy to find those, and there's just so much fun stuff there.
So my plan for Saturday is, since a bunch of us will have made purchases at the flea market, that we will go back to Saint-Germain. We will have lunch in Saint-Germain, and then, depending again on the time, maybe give everybody, 2 hours or something to putter around the neighborhood. And again, I can point anybody in the right direction of what you want to, shop for. I haven't mentioned yet, and maybe some of you have read this, that Saint-Germain is really the chocolate capital of Paris. There are the finest chocolate shops in the country are in our neighborhood, and some of them are very, very rarefied, so that if you have somebody on your gift list who adores chocolate, we will find the absolute best chocolate to bring them back. There's wonderful chocolate for baking. I mean, I am serious. This is within a, several block radius of our hotel is the finest chocolate on the planet. So we're going to go back after the flea market, and then in the afternoon, we're going to go to the Marais. And the reason that we're going to the Marais on Sunday afternoon is that neighborhood has typically been one of the liveliest places on Sundays, whereas other parts of the city, the shops might close. The Marais has almost always been open on Sundays. So, and there is a wonderful museum, that Musée Carnavalet that you see there, that is the History of Paris Museum. So you can see one of the exhibits in the upper left there is a beautiful Art Nouveau perfume shop that is reinstalled there. So the Marais is very much about seeing the streets, the sights, and shopping. There are wonderful boutiques. If shopping is not your thing, again, a bunch of us can break off and go to the Musée Carnavalet. We can meet up either at a cafe later and meet for coffee, or meet for wine, or whatever, or make our way back to the hotel. I can give all of you navigation lessons, and especially with the phone, you will not get lost.
Yeah, and that's what we did last year. But some of us did go to I went to the museum because I love history, and it was just fabulous. There was a collection of signs and things that had been used for advertising in Paris through, since almost the Middle Ages, which I just found fascinating. But what she's saying is that you can break off and then meet up later, have a designated point. So that's what we're talking about, like that feeling of you have some kind of control, some kind of way to make it your own based on what your interests are.
So since we went back to the hotel in the middle of the day, that day, we're going to have dinner unusually in the Marais that night. And this is Chez Janou, which is just a cheerful, wonderful, you can see they specialize in vintage posters. It's Provençal cooking, which is cooking from the south of France. Oysters, mussels, shrimp, it's a lot of fun. And this is the place, again, if you're a chocolate mousse person, this is the place where they bring you the bowl of chocolate mousse this big to your table, and you just help yourself as much as you want. So that could be a very dangerous thing. But this restaurant is a lot of fun. Monday, we are going to have a van come and take us just outside Paris, just on the western edge of the city, to Malmaison, which was the chateau that Napoleon and Josephine bought and lived in before he became the emperor. And you can see that it's just, been maintained with empire details. There's an incredible rose garden there, which I believe was at one point the largest rose garden in Europe, or maybe I think Josephine had 2,000 different breeds of rose in the garden. And so we'll tour the chateau there, and then our driver in our van will take us nearby to the Maison Fournaise, which was a place where the Impressionists gathered. It's right on the Seine, as I said, just outside Paris. And you can see this Renoir, which is in the Phillips collection in Washington, D.C., was painted there. And they honor the painting by having a red and white striped awning over the terrace there where Renoir painted. And we'll have a wonderful lunch outdoors on the terrace at the.
And was the Renoir is called the boating party or something? Is that the name of
Yeah.
it?
Luncheon of the boating party.
Yeah,
And
that'll
then our driver will take us back to Saint-Germain. That night we will go to Montparnasse neighborhood just south of Saint-Germain. We could walk it, we could take a bus, whichever anybody prefers. And this is a group of us, including Lucy there and Jeannie, you can see. We had a really a very, I don't know, what would you call it, Jeannie? I think that was probably the most animated of the places that we ate at last year.
Yeah, and it felt like something right out of the 20s. I mean, I guess it did start in the 20s, but
yes,
it still had that
it's
feeling.
just about to be 100 years old.
Yeah, and very Art Deco vibe to it. And you can imagine, didn't you tell us that Josephine Baker used to hang out there? All these,
her favorite restaurant. She was there on opening night. She used to go there with her pet. I believe it was a cheetah.
oh God,
I think it's a cheetah or a leopard. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. So that'll be dinner that night. And again, we can either walk dinner off back to the hotel, probably about a 15-minute walk, or there's a bus that those of us who have sore feet can jump on. And of course, there's always taxis and Ubers too. The Canal Saint-Martin is one of these areas of Paris that Parisians really flock to, tourists way less so. It's an 1802 canal that Napoleon built to bring fresh water into the capital. There are these just charming, picturesque footbridges that go over it. You can see it's lined with shops and cafes, and this one that you see that's got the 3 different colors is a particularly nice one that I think people will enjoy stopping in. And then we're going to have lunch in the restaurant that's pictured below, which just has a terrific, terrific menu.
Les Enfants Perdus, how do you say that?
Les Enfants Perdus, the lost children.
Ah.
So the Canal Saint-Martin area is is poised next to what's called the Upper Marais. And maybe some of you have read about these concept stores, which have become very, very popular in Paris in the last decade or so. They're stores that have clothing, they have housewares, and they're wildly imaginative, all kinds of price points. This one, Merci, has terrific canvas tote bags that say Merci across them, which are a wonderful thing to bring back for the friend who couldn't join you on this trip, or the person who fed your dog while you were gone, or whatever. Which is to say, all along the way, they're going to be very affordable, terrific souvenirs to buy, things for yourself. There's a print gallery along the Canal Saint-Martin that has beautiful, imaginative, little creative. I bought my daughter, who's a wonderful cook, I brought her a print of cherries in a bowl that she loves, that she has in her kitchen. So again, this will be a lot of going into these very popular stores, and anybody who doesn't want to shop, I guarantee we will find something else for you to do, and a place for you to meet us, and so on. Chez Dumonet is another one of these. I think it was founded in the very early years of the 20th century. It is famous for two things. One is duck, and the other is boeuf bourguignon. We might not want to be eating those in June if it's warm, but it is you can see, just charming, picture perfect restaurant. Again, walking distance from the hotel, although there is a bus if somebody just does not feel like walking. The next day, we're going to go up to the Montmartre area. We're not going to go as far up as Sacré-Cœur, which you see there in that lower picture, because that is just swarming with tour buses and kids getting their hair braided and whatnot. We're going to be on the more grown-up side of Saint-Germain. We will start out at this Musée Gustave Moreau, who was a symbolist painter, and his home, which has this astonishing symbolist art collection and fabulous interior with a spiral staircase. We'll start out the day there. Then we will go and we will have sort of a coffee break at the what's called the Musée de la Vie Romantique, which is a museum that's devoted to the whole romantic movement. Georges Sand, who was a woman who dressed in men's clothing, who was a wonderful writer. There's a whole exhibit devoted to her there, but we're basically going to just sit in their beautiful, it's a private villa, and we'll have a coffee break in the shaded garden there. Then we're going to make our way to the Rue des Martyrs. Again, one of these just picture perfect Paris shopping streets. And we'll head up to, you could see the group of us last year, up to one of the best crepe restaurants in Paris. Wonderful, wonderful crepes, incredible dessert crepes, delicious apple cider from Brittany to have with that, and that is going to be a very happy lunch. This is going to be our last night, so we are having dinner in a sort of private dining room, a second floor dining room of this little restaurant very close to the hotel called La Petite Chaise. The restaurant has been open probably more than 200 years. They could not have been nicer to us. We had, I think we had a great time there. We did not go on the last night, although it might have been the last night of the Paris portion last year, but we were really we were in our own space, and everybody was very relaxed, and the wine was flowing, and the food is very, very tasty. So that will be our sort of goodbye dinner on the final night.
I ended with this picture because, I mean, this little collage, because I think one of the important things to note is sharing this with, you know, I knew some of these women and some people didn't know anyone, but it's just that alchemy that happens when you're with great people. You become, and you're discovering a place at the same time. You become bonded in a way, and we all at the kind of time we had together, it's a memory. And we still have our text group from back then that we had, because I always have a text group with every trip so we can communicate and tell people where to meet and so forth, but we still keep up on text. And one of the people on the trip from last year she's from Florida, but she was in San Antonio, and I happened to be in San Antonio at the same time. So like 5 of us got together. A lot of us are going to get together again when Ellen is going to be in Austin. So and that's a point I want to make about traveling with, or what I hope always happens with NextTribe. What I've seen happen many, many times is that there's this intense bonding, because you're self-selected. There's a group of you're adventurous, you want to discover, you're open to meeting new people. And that's a wonderful formula for making new friends and connections. And it's one of the things I love about traveling with NextTribe women, is that I come away with so many friends, so many new friends. So
one of the things that I want to add to that you could just see from that sprinkling of photos, because we're together, drifting in and out of the hotel breakfast area in the morning, and then lunch, and then dinner, and then going on buses and on metros. You're sitting with different people almost at every one of these. So there's sort of these coupling and recoupling, and starting a conversation with this person, and then sitting with this person at a different meal, and finding all kinds of common ground and excitement and sharing stories and laughter. It was really special. I think almost everybody had a very special time.
Yeah. So I wanted to open it up. Does anybody have questions? I know that some of you have already signed up. Margaret Reed, you've already signed up, right? And you can, and let's see, Janet signed up. Who else has signed up here? I know the names. Does anybody, do you want to, should I go through and ask, Mary Jo, do you want to start off and tell us, just say hi and explain what your interest is, or if you have any questions?
Well, thank you. And thank you very much, Ellen. That was really a lot of fun to look at. My name is Mary Jo Shifsky, and I have a little bit of a hesitancy, a couple of them. One is, Jeannie, are you going to be going on this trip?
I will be there for the first part of the trip.
Okay.
So yes, but Ellen, I mean, I went on the trip last year, and I laughed because I don't know if I should say this, but I don't speak French, so I felt like I wasn't being very helpful. But Ellen is, and Lucy Frost will be the 2 leaders on the trip, but I will be there for the first couple of days just to welcome everyone and make sure and then I've got other things that I need to do. So, but that's a good question.
Well, thank you. And that's, well, the only little thing is, you might remember when I was in San Miguel and I said I was from Minnesota, it seemed like I was from a foreign country.
What do you mean by that?
Most everybody was from Texas.
Oh my gosh. Well,
oh, yes.
Maybe that was on that particular, we end up we've had a lot of people from Texas in the past, but we are definitely growing. I mean, I would say once we go through the group here real fast, people from California, from New York, a lot of different places. So
I look forward to hearing about that, because it is a hesitancy. So thanks.
Okay, and I have Pat next. Do you want to just say hi? And if you have a question or two, as quickly as you can.
Hi, so I'm Pat and I'm
Hi, Pat.
from Rich, Massachusetts, so I'm not from Texas.
Yeah, see there.
And I have a couple of questions. What's the typical temperature in early June in Paris?
It'll be very nice. I mean, we run the risk of it getting warm. That is just a risk that we face in the 21st century. But I think we started out the trip last year. You could see almost everybody has a light jacket on. But by the time we got to Normandy, it got warm.
And
It
I
was-
should say that we're not doing, we did Paris and Normandy last year, which was great, but we realized that we didn't have enough time in Paris. So that's
Well,
when
the other thing too is we were like 2 weeks later too. So we're really there, the very beginning of June. It should be very comfortable.
Yeah.
Great. And so my other question is, how do you handle meals with the group in terms of, I think most of them are included.
All the dinners are included. The breakfast is part of the comes with the hotel. Lunches are included. The only thing at a meal, we do buy wine for the table, but anything else rather than wine, if you wanted a special cocktail or whatever, well, I should say we get wine at dinner for the table. If you wanted wine at lunch or a cocktail at dinner, you'd get we'd have that on a separate tab. So we cover it. Okay, Margaret. Oh, you have to mute yourself.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, there you go.
Oh, good. Sorry about that. My first question was about the weather. My second question, I think you've answered in that someone will be with us most of the time who can translate if we need help with that.
Yes.
So when you say the weather's nice, and I have one more thing to add to when the weather's nice, is that sleeveless nice or jacket? Is that?
I think you'd want to have a jacket, and if you're lucky, it'll be on the in the high 60s, low 70s. If that's
I think it's going to be warmer than that.
Warmer
Jamie.
than that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fine.
Yeah, it'll be chillier in the mornings and in the evenings, and then in between, you toss your sweater or whatever in a tote bag or.
Gotcha. And I'm wondering, in terms of packing, you're showing me so much wonderful shopping. I'm thinking pack light.
Yes, pack light. If you're a shopper, and I would say pack light. But if you sign up, I should point out that for those who sign up, we will have another Zoom session like this for those who sign up beforehand, so we can discuss things like how to pack, all the little nuts and bolts. So not to worry about that.
One last question.
Sure.
One more question. If I come in early or want to stay later, can we make arrangements at the same hotel?
We have, I think yes, because several people did that last year, and we will help you make the contact that you need
And my suggestion would be to stay later, because by then you'll have gotten the lay of the land with the group, and I can help you plan whatever days you're staying. I can help make a plan for you.
Yeah, and the thing is that we can't make the extension of the hotel, but we can put you in touch with the people who will make it, and they're very responsive and easy to work with.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to know.
Okay, how about Wani? I'm asking you to unmute. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm
Tell
Wani
them tell Mary Jo that you're from that you're from California, from the Bay Area.
I'm from California, San Francisco, and I went with my friend, with Barbara, to San Miguel for our first NextTribe trip, and it was it was just wonderful to meet all the women and you know, have a wonderful trip that was beautifully guided and planned. I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to find a roommate, and it sounds fabulous, and I hope I can do this.
Well, we hope you can too, Wani, because we loved having you on that trip.
Well,
Let's see.
let me just say, last year I stayed with a roommate I had never met before. I mean, and it was we had such a good time. We were roommates the entire week. We had a really nice time together. It was just easy, and so you know,
Yes,
you
and
don't need to bring a roommate.
we will find you somebody, and there's so many like-minded women that you know, most of the time, I mean, almost 100% of the time, we've had great friendships develop from roommate setups. I should just say one bit of warning or clarification. In the hotel, happens all throughout Europe. They have the king size beds, but then when they make them into separate beds for, you know, people who want their own bed, they're very close together. So just please keep that in mind, that if you meet somebody and your roommate, Ellen, you didn't know Rosie beforehand, but
yeah, we were fine. I mean, we were fine. It was just, and we were tired at night too. So, yeah.
yeah, that's a good point to remember. Okay, Vicky, can you say hi and just where you're from? Please don't be from Texas.
I'm originally from Texas, but I live in Florida. And I have been a lurker for many months. I really wanted to go to San Miguel and didn't have the opportunity to. And then I saw this pop up and I thought, oh my gosh, this sounds as intriguing and fun as the other trip. And so I just wanted to sit in and kind of get the lay of the land and see a little bit about the dynamics of the group and how everything works.
Well, good. And any questions?
Not that I can think of. You guys have covered most of it.
Fabulous, fabulous. And how about you, Eva?
Hi, I'm Eva in New Jersey, and the presentation sounded wonderful. I have a couple of trips planned already, one back home, that's Czech Republic in May, and one to Ireland in August. I don't know if I can squeeze in another one. Have to check my finances a little better, but I would love to do it. This trip sounds amazing, and if I don't do it this year, certainly I would do it next time if it's being offered. The question I would have is there a minimum and or maximum number of women on a trip?
Yes, well, we actually have a maximum of 12 on this trip, and we already have 6 signups. So we have only 6 more slots. But as you suspected, I imagine we'll do this every year. I mean, there's people who doesn't want to see Paris, so we will.
Yeah, who does?
You know, I mean, the plan is to do it every year at this point, based on, you know, making sure that we have the numbers, and also that we are continually adding more and more trips to our schedule. So, I mean, trips domestic and international. So even if your finances can't afford this, there's smaller trips, a wellness retreat in Colorado that might be more affordable, might be a way to understand what it's like to travel with NextTribe. So just stay posted or keep in touch.
I'm definitely going on something. That much
Good.
I know.
Well, that's what we want to hear.
Paris, but I'll be somewhere. Another question is, I assume private rooms are available?
They are available, but of course there is the single supplement, the dreaded single supplement, but there's a.
Yes. And
yeah.
When does the date typically start?
The date of it's June 1st.
No, I meant when does your day, any given day, when do you start? When do you head out?
Oh, I guess that Ellen, I mean, it really depends.
My thought was about 9:30 in the morning.
Okay.
That, we can all have a leisurely breakfast and get ready and then head out and have a real morning activity, a nice break for lunch, and then a whole afternoon. And as I
That
said,
sounds great. Yeah, I
it
did
is
want to
light
stop like
until 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Good.
And Andrea, how about Andrea? I see you next.
There we go. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? Where are you from?
Thank you. I'm right outside Chicago.
See,
So,
hardly anybody from
Hello,
Texas.
hello, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, I first got caught on with NextTribe as I was scrolling on Facebook and saw the trip to San Miguel to go see for the Dia de los Muertos. And I
Yes.
fell in love with the write-up for that. And then I saw Sarah Nelson with the publishing and signed up for that. So I'm routing with that. And then I see this Paris one and I said, look, I've never listened to an info session. I said, let's see what it's about. And I wanted to see how they broke it down. Again, the finances, the timing and all that. Who doesn't want to see Paris? You're absolutely right.
Right.
But something in my heart is calling out for that San Miguel trip.
Oh, well,
And I
good.
think I'm going to hold out for that one because something in reading it my heart just leapt. And I'm thinking that's where I'd like to be this year.
I understand that. And Wani and Mary Jo can tell you about that. And, but I wanted to tell you too, that trip, it's almost sold out for Day of the Dead. So
for this year?
For this year. So
oh my God.
It's so popular. I mean, last year was so popular that we added an extension.
Yes.
So if you want to be there over the Day of the Dead, I mean, I don't want to sound like a huckster or anything, but I'm just trying to tell you that it's like, it really is. It's a very popular trip. And
I want to jump in and say that I went with a friend who knew Jeannie on the very first NextTribe trip to San Miguel. Met Jeannie there. We are absolutely, wonderful friends now. And I had such a great time on that trip, which was 5 years ago, that I just got back a couple of weeks ago. I went for 2.5 weeks with my boyfriend to San Miguel.
Amazing.
So we had a terrific time.
Well, Jeannie, I'm at a loss because I did not realize that we could sign up this early now for trips. I wasn't aware of that.
I am going to privately send, or I'll put the link in the chat, but right before first, I'll put the link to the Paris trip there. So you could, for anybody who wants to sign up, because as I said, there's 6 slots left on that. But again, I'm not trying to make you feel like you pressed to make a decision. I'm just trying to be very honest with you. So, but that's good. But what makes me happy, Andrea, is that at some point I'm going to meet you one way or the other. So.
You will. You will.
Very good. And Sophia? And are you still there, Sophia? Maybe she's just on to something else or listening in the background. Janet, hello, Janet. Can you unmute?
I'm trying to.
Look at you, still so tan, still tan.
I know, I'm still tan, yes, and a little sunburn in places. I just got back from Choncones with NextTribe. I had a wonderful time and was saying I was going to do something else. Oh, and by the way, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm in Pittsburgh in a storage unit at my dance studio right now. But anyway, I signed up for the Paris trip. I signed up because Lucy's going, and I don't know, Jeannie, if you're going to be able to talk her into that every year. And
I'm going to try.
And Lucy is a blast, and I'm sure Helen is too. And I just thought I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go to Paris and be taken care of, not have to figure it out by myself. So,
I think that's one of the things that Ellen, you make a point of is Ellen. Ellen, you want to talk about that? How Paris can be? Many people feel it's intimidating or feel intimidated by it, but that's you feel like your role is to really make it feel.
Yeah, my feeling is what I want is for you to gather in the lobby in the morning and just have a good time. Like, you don't have to navigate. You don't have to translate. You don't have to. It's just going to be fun and very rewarding. I mean, I am going to get us every time from point A to point B. And everything has been thought out ahead of time. So, we've got all kinds of contingency plans about the weather and whatnot, but it should just be you can turn off executive functioning. That's
that's
what I want to say.
Yeah, I love that. Believe me. Let's see if I'm missing anyone. Kirsten, are you there, Kirsten? Are you listening kind of in the background?
Hi. No, I'm here. Hi, thank you for the
Hi.
opportunity. Yeah, this is my first time also going to an info session. And I think was it Mary Jo? I might actually be the foreigner, so I don't know if I'd be allowed to, but I'm actually in Canada.
Oh, we accept everyone.
So I wanted to join the information session because I've never gone on a tour trip before. And I thought I love that idea of turning off the executive function. I wasn't quite sure if, I see the benefits of it. It sounds like a beautiful itinerary. I would love to just hand over that responsibility and go with the flow. I just don't know what it would be like to travel in a group. That would be my first time. I'm probably not this year, I don't think, but I appreciate getting to meet everybody on this call. And I didn't want to beg off when it was before it was my turn to speak.
Well, I want to just say to you, Kirsten, that in all my traveling, I founded NextTribe and but I had done a lot of traveling beforehand. And to be honest, I would never have done group travel, which is kind of hilarious because I'm now creating all these trips for group travel. But I can tell you that because personally, I don't do group travel, or I wouldn't have done group travel, I make sure that it doesn't feel like group travel. I kind of say it's group travel for people who don't like group travel. And I think we've made the point several times that we allow for you to go off on your own, do your thing. We help you with doing what you need to do or want to do if it's not what the group is doing, and then meet up at some point. Again, I feel like we're all grown-ups, we're grown women. We can find our way. We don't need a babysitter all the way unless you want one. That's the thing. So it just, my feeling is that it should be all about what you want to do, and not some kind of where you're in lockstep following somebody with an umbrella up in the air. So I understand and I hear you. And
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just, like I said, I figured I might be the outlier in the other country. Sounds like I would be. And also, would you I feel like this is a bold question, but would you make any age range guesses for the typical groups in the past?
Well, it is a good question. I mean, we are 45 plus, and as you know, but I would say we're in the main thing is like 50s to the main group is like into the early 50s to 65 is like the main group, but we have women as old as into their late 70s, and they have a great spirit. And I promise you, if there's somebody of a slightly different age, your spirit is going to match, and I feel like that's what's really important. I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah, thank you. I'm open to that. I was just curious.
Yeah, but okay. And not what I'm saying is it's not like everyone's retired or everyone, some people still have kids at home, some people are still working, some are retired, but it's the spirit that I think unifies us.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Okay. And Happy Cutler, how are you? Are you there, Happy? If not, you're listening.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, there you are. You're unmuted.
I've been trying to put a picture up the whole time, but I can't do it. But anyway, I'm sorry for that. But here's my voice. I am from New York. I have been listening with great interest. I have to tell you, Ellen, I am so in awe of this itinerary. I have been to Paris several times, and I've always traveled with my husband to Paris and, friends, and it's been a more touristy kind of visit. And this is always the Paris that I have wanted to see, the one that you put together. So my husband isn't able to travel anymore, so I am traveling solo, and I'm excited about finding a group of like-minded women with a great sensibility on where to go and how to find the best places.
And we have lots of women who for whatever reason aren't traveling with their husbands, or maybe want to take occasional trips without their husbands, or are not married, whatever. So there's something special about women coming together on these trips that really is a distinctive part of the trip. I think it, as I've said before, like-minded women, very interested in exploring. So you'll like that part of the trip.
I think that there is something magical that happens when women are together. Anyway, women in community create a very special experience. So I'm really looking forward to this trip. I'm looking forward so much to it that I am also signed up for the San Miguel trip in November. I'm on your list twice, and I am signed up already. I am committed to going on this trip, and I can't wait because June 4th happens to be my birthday.
Oh, fabulous. Well, we'll make we had last year, we had somebody who had a birthday along the way, and we made a special event of it. And so we'll make sure to have something fun. I forget where we'll be on June 4th, but it'll be a great restaurant. I promise.
Every one of those restaurants look fantastic. And between the souffles and the chocolate, you have me more than covered. Don't worry.
Okay, Donna. Hello, Donna. Are you there, Donna? If not, we'll move on to Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciated this session. I do have another commitment going on at the same time, but I was truly interested in hearing what NextTribe had to offer and the detailed itinerary. So possibly in the future, I'll be joining in with the group.
We would love it. And just I hope you're a member, or at least a subscriber to we have a newsletter, and then we have a special member section where we have a member newsletter, and members get discounts on all our trips, and they're the first to hear about the trips that come up. So if you're not a member, please do. But Donna, please stay tuned, because I'm Jeannie Edmonds, who's on this call as well. The two of us are always planning new trips. Do you want to say hi, Jeannie?
Hey, everybody. I just came back from Troncones. Hi, Wani. Nice to see you, Wani. Wani and I, we were all in San Miguel together last year, but I just came back from the Troncones trip, and I've been hearing about this trip from Jeannie. She said, you're not going to believe it. It's a fun trip. You just lie around, or you can be active and go boogie boarding and all this stuff. We just had such a great time. This Paris trip, Ellen, come on. You outdid yourself. This looks gorgeous. This is Paris like, I mean, I've been to Paris a few times. I'm just agog. It looks fantastic. I'm really thrilled for everyone who can go on this trip, since I can't go. But anyway, y'all have a great time.
Well, good. Well, thanks, Jeannie. And
hey, Jeannie, Wani had a question.
Oh yeah, I was going to say Wani has a question. That's what I was going to address. Are most of the women not traveling with a known friend, but as a single? That's a good question, Wani. It's a range. I think a lot of women come with a friend, but we have so many who come, they don't know anyone, and the not knowing anyone lasts for less than a day, it feels like. And I don't want to sound like I'm hyping that too much, but I see people just come into our trip, and they're immediately absorbed into the whole excitement. And so either way, Wani, if you're come with somebody or without, you'll be with friends. And we can talk about that if you have specific questions about that. If you want to talk about finding somebody to room with, if you're not going to be a single, that we can work that out.
You know, I want to just say that we did this one kind of practical thing last year. I was fixated on wanting to make sure that nobody got left behind anywhere, because, you know, we're a big group of women and we're all chatting and happy, and somebody went off to the ladies' room and didn't know that we left. So I said, okay, I think it was by first initial, everybody got a number. We were 1 through 14. Yeah. And every time we left somewhere, we would count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And it became this sort of just lovely little bonding exercise. And once we got to Normandy, we had a man who was a guide with us in our van and whatnot. And every time we would get to number 14, he would pipe up 15.
Yeah, he wanted to be part of it.
It was so endearing that everybody, we just all kind of, oh, where's so-and-so? Oh, she went in to, you know, buy a scarf. Oh, okay, let's wait. But it was a way for us to really keep track of one another in this kind of, you know, very playful and yet practical way.
And I want to just say that I feel like, if I say this to a lot of people at the beginning of a trip, but I say it's my job or our job with NextTribe is to make sure you have fun. And and there's a lightness to it. I'm not, maybe that's why I never went on group trips, is because it felt like, you know, you had things you had to check off, you know, off of an itinerary. You had to be here and you be there. There is a lightness to our trips, and it's because fun for me is like number one, and discovering a new place is, you know, on its own is fun, but discovering a new place with a group of women who are as excited and interesting as you are, that is the juice of life. I mean, the juice of travel, I think. So if you're come by yourself, it's all okay. You'll have friends soon. If you're scared of group travel, I hear you. We make our best effort to never make you feel like you're on the five monuments in one day kind of tour. So we have the room for you to do what you want to do. And as Ellen has alluded to, she's like, even last year, there was the Sand cruise was not on our itinerary, but some of the women wanted that, and Ellen made it happen. She figured out, you know, walked them to the place to get the boat. So she's so generous with all of her knowledge that if you end up, as she said, that don't want to do one thing, the shopping or this, there's not a shortage of things to do in the neighborhood. So she'll find it for you. So anyway, we've kept you a long time, but if there's any other questions, I'm also recording this, and so I'll make it available. I'll send it out to people if you wanted to look at the slides again or anything like that. Or you can always email me. I'm going to put I just put the membership information, because as I said, members get discounts on the trip, and that's my email there. So feel free to contact me, and I hope I get to see you in Paris. Anything else?
Thank you, Ellen. This was really a good use of time.
I
And thank
love
you for disputing my claim about Texas.
I don't think, because I'm not even from Texas.
I know
anymore.
you're not, and the whole complexion.
Exactly.
And
All
I'm
right.
in New York, for the
And
record.
she's in New York. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.